I'm a feminist, but... Hello, Reading, we are in you! And I'm a feminist, but backstage, Grace Petrie asked... Yes, that gasp, she's in the building. She's not playing, she just popped in to say hi. No, I'm kidding, she is. Asked me to explain a Joey Tribbiani sex joke to her from Friends, and I did. And I felt not only a little bit sophisticated for understanding the Joey Tribbiani sex joke and being able to explain it, I felt it was a feminist act to tell a sister the full nuance of ejaculation. It's not right.
I'm a feminist, but... I'm so bad with money that my wife has to keep an eye on everything that I spend. And I'm so accident prone, we've recently set up what we call the fuck-up fund, where every month I just bung a little bit of money aside because I will undoubtedly smash the car, break something, just be shit at things, leave a pair of shoes somewhere. But that's it, really. I'm just not very good at stuff. But I am a feminist, so...
I think... you know, the reason I think that doesn't play into a stereotype...
Go on.
...is because your partner's a woman.
Yeah.
So one of you is good with money.
Yeah.
So it's just okay, you're just being the other... In fact, you're being representation across the board. Some women are good, some women are not good with money.
I'm not good. Oh, not good with money, okay.
Not with money,
I think morally I'm great.
No.
I mean,
you're amazing at other things, Suzy Ruffle. You're amazing at other things.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel I'm going to...
If you're shit with money, I highly recommend a wife. And I don't think it matters if you're gay or not. I think just get one, they're jolly good. I'm very fond of mine.
It's true, I'm not good with money and my wife's my husband.
Well, have you considered getting another wife? Because I think...
Listen, everyone should have a wife.
If I leave one thing with you tonight, it's that.
I'm a feminist, but... I don't know about you, but the second it gets sunny in the UK, I turn into what I think is called a manic pixie dream girl. Like I walk around going, I wish someone would buy me ice cream. Maybe we could talk about emotions. And me, no, I'm not like the other girls. And all I want is 4 chords and a sad British tired man singing over them over and over for 6 weeks. That's all I want.
I can see you doing a rom-com like that. Could we make a little guilty feminist rom-com?
Yeah, I think it should be like Emily in Paris, except, like, good.
I feel like you should...
Cut out the podcast, I know the producers.
I think you should be the Parisian in Reading. And we find you a Reading man/... Wouldn't it be nicer if it was a lesbian rom-com?
I really want it to be about me moving from Paris to Birmingham. But it turns out that TV people don't want to go to Birmingham. Would you believe that?
Reading doesn't want to hear that. They want to hear it's here. We're in Reading now. Is there anyone who would star in a rom-com with Celia A.B., male, female, or non-binary? We are not exclusionary here. Please cheer now if you would like to be... There you go.
I think that's how you get a sitcom, actually, isn't it? Just go to random towns and ask.
I'm a feminist, but... Can I just clear something up before I go any further? About the Joey Tribbiani sex joke. The way that you framed that when you said explaining ejaculation, I just want to say, if anyone doesn't... I'm a lesbian, I'm not a virgin. Like...
The more you plead, the more it makes it sound like a lie.
Methinks the lady doth protest.
Any day now. Well, yeah, I am a feminist, but today I was very hungover and I had a very difficult... Thank you very much. Yes, I know. I've done sex, I've done booze, I've done all of it. And I had a very stressful hungover train journey. I have incredibly bad period pain and a really bad headache, and I had to go through 4 separate carriages on the train before I could find one that didn't have a screaming child in it. And I love my sisters, but it was fucking hard work. And then I got here, and we ordered like sushi in for the meal before the show. And there was this long, laborious, drawn-out thing where everyone was going, I don't think Grace's is here. I don't think Grace's is here. I don't think Grace's... And eventually I just had to go, guys, they had a McDonald's at 5 o'clock! I was really hungover.
It's true, that actually did happen. And again, I don't think it's unfeminist to have a McDonald's. To pretend you didn't have it because you want to be with the healthy sushi eaters at 7 is a little bit like... yeah, I'm just going to fit in with the other girls. Pretend I don't eat McDonald's. So maybe the lack of feminism comes in there. But I love that eventually you confessed, even if it was as... You confessed it like someone would confess to a murder in a Poirot. It's like, okay, it was me! Yeah.
Yeah, eventually it was. I killed the cow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. You're a lesbian. People expect veganism.
I'm a feminist, but... I don't know if anyone saw me do like 8 false starts there. I'm like, she's finished. No, she's not finished. I'm not... No. All right, here we go. No, that's not me either. Also, who doesn't love Grace Petrie being so hungover she forgot the word show? And I was eating before the... what am I doing right now? Jesus Christ. Show. A show. I knew that. I knew that. Just like the Joey Tribbiani joke. We introduced Celia to the phrase thumb it in. There's a hush over the crowd, and I don't know if it's because you're disgusted, you don't know what I'm talking about or how it's relevant to Joey. Okay, shut up. We'll just move on. Okay, I'm a feminist, but even though I know that climate change is a feminist issue and fashion and fast fashion and pollution is creating so many problems in the world, I also realised when I got to Paddington train station that I'd forgotten all my jewellery, so I spent £50 in accessorise because I wanted to look pretty for you. I'm wearing a lot of gold-plated, let's say that.
It's really working out for you.
You shut up.
Absolutely. And I feel like, I'm a feminist, but I feel like it was totally worth it. I feel the people of Reading are just like Felicity Ward's brought her A game.
Thank you so much. I also want to say I've just bought my first ear cuff, which is to say I came out as bisexual last year. Guess what else I did? I bought a skateboard. Lol!
Are we ready to start the show? Then welcome, Reading. A big round of applause for Suzy Ruffle, Grace Petrie, Celia A.B. and Felicity Ward. 4 incredible women you're going to be seeing a lot more of tonight. Sometimes there's more theme tune at the end of that bit. So I've taken to a little bit of dancing, an occasional twirl of the cape. That's right. You've come for a night out, so I've brought you a sequined cape that says Guilty Feminist on the back. Hello, Reading. Thanks so much for coming out. It's so exciting to be back in the same room with you again. Can I touch somebody? Yes, please. Excellent, thank you. Don't look at me like it's going to be a biblical healing. It's not. Never know. I mean, what did you say?
I said you were saved.
Saved, yes, absolutely. It's not clear what from, though. So, hello, Reading. We're genuinely so thrilled to be back here with you and in you. Just give us a cheer if you listen to the Guilty Feminist podcast. Just give us a cheer if you don't know what you're at. Notice that those cheers are less empowered. Less feminist, if you will, but worry not, it'll all become apparent. This is the Guilty Feminist podcast, the podcast in which we explore our noble goals as 21st century feminists and our hypocrisies and insecurities which undermine them. That was an excited response from the front row. As it went further back, people were less impressed. I know. That's the only way I know how to say undermine them. No, I wish I could say it normally, but it's never going to happen now. I am so excited to be here. a little bit, when I have this really raised stage situation, there's a little part of me that my heart sinks because I know you down here have the same view I have when I accidentally open my camera phone the wrong way and I'm like, oh my God, is that what I look like? I need you to know that I am at least 75% more attractive than you think I am. If you're people in the balcony, that's how I really look. That raised. When I become really successful, I will own that no stalls will be available, only upper circle and balconies will be available. Because I don't want anybody looking up at me like this. I'm a feminist, but I would rather fewer people in this venue sitting at more flattering angles. Sorry, someone's taking a photo there. Let me listen. I just don't want you taking a photo of me when I'm talking like that. So can we do? I'll do some posed ones. And do you want a natural one so it looks like I'm in the middle? See, but that's good, that's good. So, Reading, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you been doing any feminism since we've come to see you last? Yes? Okay. Yes? You have? Okay, I'm going to ask you for some feminism that you've been doing, but the people who shouted out then, I reckon have got really good ones, so I'm going to ask you to hold back a bit. So, has anyone got a lowly act of feminism that they'd like to share? Yes? What's your lowly one? Didn't shave your armpits for 2 weeks? Come on! What happened at the 2-week mark that made you cave? A child's birthday party? What, you thought they'd be frightened? You thought they'd think it was a Muppet? What was the... Oh, you thought a 2-year-old might go, what's that? Yeah, because they're not used to... Well, 2-year-olds will do that to you because they are used to patriarchal beauty norms and they will look... But this is your job, is to be the other. So you go, well, some women have hair under their arms. Some women choose to shave it off. This is where the education begins. So I'm going to challenge you to go to the next children's birthday party as hairy as possible. I'm not going to do it. I personally leave that to really young feminists. Like, I always think, like, when Sophie Duker comes in and she does that and she's got... I think, oh, my God, it looks like a political statement. But if I do it, people just think, oh, she's let herself go. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think you really have to be in your 20s and dye it green or something like that. It's like, yeah, fuck the patriarchy shaved into your hair. Whereas for me, people just look like, she's given up. She's withdrawn from the race, I think. I'm Generation X, and we've shaved forever, and I'd love to say I was giving it up. I might give it up for Lent one year. Sometimes in the winter I can't be asked because no one can see it, and I just think, oh, what does it really matter? Although I will say this, I'm a feminist, but one time I forgot to shave under my arms, and then I went to a feminist event and I thought, oh, I'm going to do this because people are going to think I'm a better feminist than I am. Any other acts of feminism? Yes? You've been organising bike protests for mums who cycle to get better infrastructure across the UK. Far too good an act of feminism. We can't go from I shaved my armpits so as not to frighten a toddler to change the infrastructure across the UK with cardio. That feels right out of our league. Well done for doing it, don't get me wrong, but you've misunderstood the assignment entirely. Tell us about it, though, because I do want to hear.
They're critical masses. They're like critical masses, but with tiny people on balance bikes.
Critical masses?
So lots of people turn up on a bike, including balance bikers.
Lots of people turn up on bikes. I'm saying this for the podcast, I'll say it won't hear.
We cycle together, and it kind of shows the council that you need better infrastructure that your 8-year-old or your 7-year-old can cycle on, which will get more kids cycling.
So you're demonstrating to the council that they need better cycle lanes? So you use them in earnest to demonstrate that they're poor. But when you say balance bikes, aren't all bikes balance bikes? Isn't that what a bike is? Otherwise it's just a tricycle, isn't it? If you're free on the 15th of May... I want to come at 11:30 to Palmer Park.
11:30 to Palmer Park,
Reading.
It's very cute. Come along.
Come along, because what's your name?
Sorry, I'm Kat, and they're called critical masses,
They're calling critical
Critical mass, so critical mass but for kids, kiddical mass.
Kiddical mass, and it's the 15th of May, and it's in where?
Palmer Park at 11:30.
Palmer Park, 11:30 a.m. Does anyone here have a bike, and would you be up for going along to protest the infrastructure? Great, so you've got more people coming along now. Very well done, but also intimidating. Does anyone have anything worse than that? We're looking for something much worse than that. Yes?
I explained what feminism was to a guy I was dating.
You explained what feminism was to a man you were dating.
Yeah.
Speaks well of you and poorly of you at the same time, doesn't it? That you were dating a man who had no idea what it was. But you did the work, yes, go on.
It was like date number 3.
It was only date number 3.
Got into like the point of discussing feminism.
You'd got to the point of discussing feminism. That feels like date number 1 to me.
Dates 1 and 2 were very alcohol fueled.
Dates 1 and 2 were alcohol fueled, as is right and proper, Reading. Come on now. Yeah.
I explained it and then...
You explained it, and then what did he say?
Yeah, I got through all that and then I stopped dating him because he still didn't seem to understand.
He didn't understand it, and you went, let's call it a day.
Yeah, I kind of ghosted.
You ghosted him. Oh. No, people don't know what to make of that. They're like, ghosting is bad, but also he's not a feminist. Yeah, I think you should say, I am definitely not going to see you again because you're not a feminist. Think on, my friend.
Yeah, I probably should have done that.
Yeah, go back to him now. Text him now. Did you meet him on a dating app?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you in your app profile you can say you're an intersectional feminist?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask you why you're not doing that. Are you worried it's going to put people off? Because if you are...
The thing is, I tend to put liberal and vegan.
Liberal and vegan, and you think that's doing the heavy lifting, do you? So if they don't pick it up from that, you put liberal and vegan, and you think that intersectional feminist is just going to bum them out so hard that you're not going to get laid at all.
If you know, on Hinge you can put your like political.
Yeah, on Hinge you can put your political leaning.
If they say they're conservative, I get rid.
If you say they're conservative, you get rid. Okay. So you just so you're looking you're looking for 2 fabulous dates, and then at the end of 2 fabulous, quite boozy dates, you'll be like, okay, if we're going to go into the 4th date, I need to know your politics. Up until then, as long as you're not actually Jacob Rees-Mogg, I'm all right.
Going forwards, I'll go from first date.
Going forwards, you're going to go first date. Well, that is a commitment. What's your name?
Evie.
Evie?
Yes.
Okay, Evie, brilliant. Is there anyone in the audience, and I don't want to impose sexual orientation on you, are you looking for...
A man.
Evie is looking for a man. Do we have any men in? Just give us a cheer if you're a man. Give us a cheer if you're a straight man. Give us a cheer if you're a single straight man. Wow. There is not one single straight man in this audience. Come on, there must be. There must be. We won't make you go on a date, just there must be a single straight man in this audience. There must be. Are you telling me every single straight man in this audience has been brought by a woman? That is disappointing. Listen, I'm going to put this out there. Word out. Straight men, if you are looking to meet beautiful, intelligent, active, passionate women, the Guilty Feminist audience is an incredible place to come. If you cannot pull here, you cannot pull in prison. That's not right to say, is it? That's a very Guilty Feminist joke. I'm just saying. Yeah, more men should know about this space. I take it back. Men don't come here to pick up women. That's not right. Come here to learn. Straight men who are in a partnership, just give me a cheer. Yes, you're here. Just wave. Yes. So you 2 men are in the front row. Have you been brought? Because sometimes I find that men say, no, I bought the ticket. And generally they are on a 3rd date. That's very true. It's when they're trying to seal that deal, they're like, what date is definitely going to work? I've bought us tickets for the Guilty Feminist. Right? We're going to go and laugh, but also, how feminist am I? Right? But did you buy the tickets, or... No. He went, no. Because you wouldn't have bought tickets in the front row, would you?
I did.
Did you? You bought the tickets? How come?
Because we'd been listening to the podcast in the car for quite a while.
Been listening to the podcast in the car for quite a while.
And I saw that you were touring nearby to where we lived. And
Saw we were touring nearby. So you got tickets. And was it a surprise?
Yes.
It was a surprise? Was it a nice surprise?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't seem as convinced. Don't seem as convinced. What did you say? She doesn't seem as convinced as all that. Okay, yeah. Well, that's a lovely thing to do. That's a lovely thing to do, but you did not buy the tickets. Have you? Do you know this podcast? Yeah. Okay. Are you regretting sitting in the front row now?
I said to him, don't say anything.
I said to him, don't say anything. I said to him, don't say anything. Why?
Won't come across well.
Because you won't come across well. She wasn't wrong. No, listen, thank you so much for coming and thank you for listening. Would you call yourself a feminist, sir? Yeah. He was very fast to answer. He's come across well. You'd be amazed at the number of men who are happy to come and sit in the Guilty Feminist audience when I say, are you a feminist? They go, And I was thinking, if I was at a men's rights activist conference and I had snuck in just to see what it was about, I would, never sit in the front row, but if I was called upon, if a man on the stage said, are you a real men's rights activist? I would be like, yes, very much. I love men's rights. More men's rights, please. Because I would just not have the confidence to go, not really. I just love it when men have that confidence to go, I mean, some of it makes sense. I don't like it when they take it too far. So it's like, fascinates me. Absolutely fascinates me. Reading, if you enjoy Graham Norton, if you enjoy Michael McIntyre's Roadshow, if you enjoy Later with Jules Holland, I'm going to need you to imagine those three men were women. Then imagine they let women on TV. Then imagine those women allowed other women to come and play. And you have got yourself the Guilty Feminist Live Tour Show. We're going to have some comedy. We're going to have some music. We're going to have some deep and searing chat on this sofa with some local Reading feminists who are making a difference. Are you ready for these things? Yeah. Then please put your hands together and make incredible woohooing noises for a comedian who is all over the telly with good reason, and we always feel so lucky when she comes to join us on The Guilty Feminist. So when I say put your hands together, that's the point where you do that. And make incredible woohooing noises for the one, the only, the wonderful Suzy Ruffle!
Hello. This mic stand is longer than I thought it was. And I thought I'd do some sort of hilarious Freddie Mercury thing, and it didn't quite work. That's the truth. Hello. Oh. That wasn't as vimmy as I'd like it to be, if I'm honest. Hello. Yes, very good. Well done. Well done. So I want to talk to you about a lot of things tonight. I've got a lot of things going on. My big news is that I've got a wife. I mentioned that before. I got me one of them wives. Very into that. She's great. I've also got a baby. I've got a little baby. The people that didn't woo that, you are homophobic. And if you're gay, you will have your card revoked out the door. So there's people watching. People are very interested in how we had a baby. People are very interested how two birds have managed it. They are. And there's lots of ways that gays can have babies now. You can do IVF, you can do IUI, you can do adoption, you can do surrogacy. We went for witchcraft. Don't know. People know that that's an option, but you should do it. People ask a lot of questions. People I don't know ask me questions, which I don't want to answer. Me, my wife, the bubba, the bubba's a toddler now, so she was like walking about, and we were queuing the other day for bread, okay? And that makes it sound like it's 1939 and there was rationing, doesn't it? We were in a bakery, okay? Little fam, we were adorable, okay? And the woman behind me was smiling at me in a way to let me know that she was totally fine about gay people having kids. Just a liberal Lucy. Totally fine with it, just...
And eventually she went, your daughter, she's lovely. And I went, thanks. Yeah, she's great. We're really fond of her. She went, I hope you don't mind me asking. And I thought, I bet I will. I bet you I will. She said, I hope you don't mind me asking, but my friend Philippa is thinking about having a baby on her own. And I thought, Philippa will find that hard. That we did that for a while, and you really do need that other ingredient. You really do. You won't manage it by yourself, Philippa. I don't know how to say this, but we tried, we did everything we could, but we did need other stuff. She said, my friend Philippa, thinking about doing it on her own, and she's thinking about using a sperm bank in Denmark. And your daughter is beautiful. And I was wondering if you... And as she started saying this bit, she realised that she was asking me where we got the sperm. It dawned on her that she was saying, hey, where's the jizz from? It dawned on her. So I thought, just to teach her a little lesson to not ask questions that don't concern you, I thought I'd just give her enough rope to hang herself. So she then just started having sort of a bit of a crisis, an existential crisis of some sort. She goes, I hope you don't mind me asking, I'm just wondering. She's beautiful, Denmark. Just kept saying Denmark. I was like, do you think I'm Sandy Toksvig? What the fuck is going on? And she said, and in the end she just went, where did you get the sperm? And I was so sort of shocked, annoyed, it was also 9:30 in the morning, that I just went, your husband. And now we have to go further to get bread, not longer. I'm tired. I should let you know that. I'm so tired. I'm absolutely shagged, and ironically, that's not how I've got myself in this situation. I'm so tired because she wakes up a lot. She's up, and she's super fun. She's super fun. Let's find out, actually. People in the room that have got children, give me a cheer. Yeah, give me a cheer if you haven't got children. Okay, well, you can think of this routine as a cautionary tale. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. I love her. She's my best mate. I love her to bits. She's absolutely obsessed with things she's not allowed to touch. Obsessed! She's 2. All she wants to do is touch things she's not allowed to touch, which means she spends the whole day following the cat around the flat, going, bum bum, no touch. Bum bum, no touch. Bum bum, no touch. She gets her finger so close to the cat's ring piece. Okay, even the cat's like, it's like bum bum. No, I don't know why she's got a Spanish accent either, and this hasn't been. We haven't got her on Spanish mode. I don't know what it is. Bum bum, no touch. Bum bum, no touch. The other day, the Sky Man came round. Okay, he was walking around the flat, and she was just following him like a toddler, just looking at what he's doing. He crouched down to get into the cupboard where the Sky stuff is, and she just went, bum bum, no touch. And I mean, it was a very weird scenario for him, sort of having to explain to us that he wasn't trying to touch our cat's arse. It was a weird thing. She also fucking loves the bin. Oh, she loves the bin. She loves the bin. She goes over to it. She goes, don't touch the bin. She goes, no touch bin. No touching. No touching. No, love bin. No, you don't love bin, you love mama. You love mama. The other day she got in from nursery and went, bin, I home. Like, at what point is this a concern? Anyway, the reason I'm telling you about this is that I'm worried. She wants to get into things she's not allowed to touch. And my mother has made it worse, okay? My mum, who I'm very, very close to, I love my mum to bits. She's just one of my best friends. She's brilliant. She's got a catchphrase, my mum. Don't know if your mum's got a catchphrase. My mum's got a catchphrase. Let me get it right. Oh, don't you look tired? That's the big one. She's a lot of fun, my mum. She is a lot of fun. A little while ago, she went to a wedding. The next morning, she rang me. I went, all right, mum, do you have a nice time? She went, oh, hello, babe. I still called mum, what's up? She went, babe, I ain't well. I am not well, my baby. I have been sick as a dog. I still called mum, what happened? She said, well, I found out something about myself, Suze. I have found out something about myself. I have found out that I am allergic to lime. I said, you what? She went, last night I had 15 vodka lime and sodas.
And do you know what? I'll think it's that lime. I said, do you? Do you think it's the lime? I burst out laughing. She went, don't you dare put this on stage. I was like, the lime, you say? She's lots of fun. But she rang me, okay? She's also completely obsessed with the baby. So's my dad. The first grandchild, the greatest thing ever. Okay? She rang me up, woke me, 7 a.m, and went, Suze, I'm just ringing you to say, I reckon that baby is tall enough now to pull the kettle onto her head and kill herself. I was like, oh, good morning. Good morning. So now I'm worried about that. Then she was like, then a couple of days later, she was like, I'm really worried she's going to climb in the oven. Okay, thanks, Mum. So now what I've had to do is I've bought her a cage. It's a pen. I've got a pen for the baby. The baby lives in a pen. Well, she doesn't live in the pen. I put her in the pen. I occasionally put her in the pen when I'm cooking or something like that, but she fucking hates the pen. She absolutely hates the pen. I put her in the pen. She hates the pen. I put the cat in the pen. I'm like, touch its ass. Now I'm worried about you pulling the kettle on yourself. I put the Sky Man in the pen. I'm like, sorry, mate, you live here now. Get in. Take the Ruffalo with you. I put me in the pen. I put my wife in the pen. She hates the pen. Absolutely hates the pen. The reason I am telling you this is that when I left for this show tonight, the only thing that's in the fucking pen is the bin, and now she can't wait to get in there. She's the best. Best thing that's ever happened to me. We thought about, we wondered how to have a baby. We were thinking about how we were going to do it. And we were wondering, because as I mentioned before, we were missing one key ingredient, okay? Because we got wombs. Oh, we got wombs for days. In fact, we got a womb with a view of another womb if we face each other. Little gag for the readers. But we haven't got any sperm. And I said this to one of the girls. And in my friendship group, most of my best friends that are men are male stand-up comedians, right? And I said to one of the girls, how should I get some sperm? She said, ask one of the boys. I don't want a baby that keeps observing things. Also, how am I going to slip that into conversation after a gig? All right, mate, a lovely bit on breadsticks. Any heart disease in the family? Jizz into that. I think it could create a weird vibe. So I thought, right, okay, well, I'll go to the doctor and find out, because we were tossing up, and I chose that word, between IVF and adoption. So I thought, we'll go and find out if this one's a fertile murder. So I went to the doctor and said, hello, I'd like a baby, please. I've got a womb with a view of another womb if we face each other, but we haven't got any sperm. And the doctor said, if you carry on talking like that, I won't treat you. And I said, that is fair enough. Fair enough. And then the doctor said, right, before we do any of that, we're going to have to do your routine smear test. Now, I wondered initially about talking about smear tests on stage. I mean, certainly not in front of this crowd, but in general, because I don't want people to feel uncomfortable. But then I thought, you know what, I've seen male comedians, this isn't me slagging them off, do very, very funny material, but talk about their dicks for around an hour. And afterwards, audiences will go, do you know what, that one? He's a real thinker. So I'm just trying to readdress the balance. So I'm going to talk about going for a smear, but please don't worry, the whole routine lasts about 3 minutes, and it is much easier if you relax. Okay. I'll set the scene. You're in stirrups, so it's like you've been riding a horse, and then the horse has fucked off. And you've toppled over and end up in the back room of an NHS hospital. Then what's happened every time I've been for a smear, and I'd never something they're rolling out just for me. But every time I've been for a smear, what seems to happen is the doctor come over and they go, hi, Miss Ruffle, thanks so much for coming in. It's really important you keep up to date with your smear test. Now, if this is a problem, you can absolutely say no. You can totally say no. It's not a big deal. But would it be all right? We have some trainee doctors in today. Could they all come in? And you want to go, no, there's a horse on the loose. Could they go and get that? But you love the NHS, so you go, yes, of course, it's absolutely fine. Now, I need to let you know something. People who are in the room that haven't been to a smear, I need to let you know something. When you're having your smear, you feel a little bit silly. You feel a little bit silly, and I'll tell you for why. T-shirt, nothing. Little pair of socks. Little bit silly. You feel a little bit like Winnie the Pooh. The doctor's back. She says, Miss Ruffle, would it be okay if one of the trainee doctors did your smear? You're like, yeah. I mean, I would prefer it if someone's had a crack at it before, if I'm honest. I would prefer that, but you love the NHS. I love the NHS, so you've got to go, yes, of course, no problems, absolutely fine. They've all got to learn, haven't they? And then what happened is the trainee doctor came at me like this. fuck. The doctor's back. The doctor's back. She says, Miss Ruffle, would it be okay if one of the other trainee doctors did your Oh, this is going to be embarrassingly...
It's the hinge bit.
Pardon?
The hinge bit.
It's that bit.
Yeah.
And I guess that's feminism. Appreciate that, thanks. The doctor came back and she went, could one of the other trainee doctors do your paperwork? I was like, yeah, one's at my chuff, then fill out a form, carry on. Carry on. So she comes in, she goes, right, you're Suzy Ruffle? Yeah, that's me. 18th of the 1st, 1986? Uh-huh. Okay, first question. What are you using as contraception? Undercut on the Doc Martens, not enough? What would you need? I said, I'm not using contraception. She went, oh, well, if you're sexually active, you do need to be using contraception. And I was like, oh. I don't. She went, no, you do. Because even if you're using, the old-fashioned technique or, the Catholic technique, I was like, nothing about what I'm doing is Catholic. She says, you should be very careful. You could have a baby tomorrow. I mean, I think it will take 9 months. I mean, I've got 4 GCSEs. You're nearly a doctor. You should know that. She wasn't picking up what I was putting down, and what I was putting down was a KD Lang album. So eventually I just had to come out. Now, of course, there'll be people in the room that are queer. You know what this is like. Sometimes you have to come out in situations where you didn't know you were coming out that day. You hadn't put it in your diary. So I had to say, I'm a gay lady. I'm a lady that's gay. I'm a glady. And the one that was down here doing the jiggery pokery, which I think is the official term. I said I'm a gay lady, and she popped up like I'd birthed her. So, whoa, she is a lot older than I thought she'd be, but we are very proud she's a doctor. I said I'm a gay lady, and she popped up and went, oh, right, that makes sense. Snug. Now, that's not a medical term, is it? Snug? What a weird word to use. Has that been written on my record? Snug. Because it sounds like she's looking down there and she can see the back end of a Tudor pub. Just... Is that a snug? Reading, I laughed so hard, the speculum across the room. My dad hates that bit. Every time he sees me do it, he goes, you have to keep on talking about your Jack and Danny, which is Cockney rhyming slang for fanny. So if you didn't enjoy my set, you've learnt something. It's always a real privilege to do these gigs that Deborah puts on. And also, I think Deborah has created something really amazing. And it's just brilliant to be part of it, to be honest. I'll leave you with this. I mentioned my dad. He's a geezer. He's a proper bloke, my dad. He's a proper fucking geezer. No, geezer. Kind of man that can only write in capital letters. You know one of those? It means no matter what he writes, it looks aggressive. He's like, happy birthday, love Dad! In crayon. That's Dad, right? He's a geezer, but he tries. He tries to get things right. He sometimes gets things wrong, but he tries, and I think that's what matters. A little while ago, he rang me. He went, hello, baby, I need to talk to you. I went, all right, Dad, what's up? He went, here, listen, baby. I've got to ask you a very serious question, right? It's really, really serious, and you need to know whatever the answer is. I love you to bits, but I need the truth. I was like, Dad, whatever it is, I tell you the truth, not a problem. He goes, all right, and baby, I love you to bits, you tell me the truth. Here, do you want to be a boy? I was like, oh, no, Dad, I'm just a gay girl with short hair. And he went, oh, all right then, here's your mum. Passed the phone to my mum and went, we've watched a documentary. They've watched something queer, it's confused them. Which one is she? I don't know, give her a ring. It's adorable. You have got an awesome night ahead of you. My name's Suzy Ruffle, maybe I'll see you another time. Cheers, good night.
Ruffle, everybody! Isn't she amazing? How are we doing in the show so far? Excellent. So I just need to ask a question. Who thinks they've got a feminist job? Yes? What's your job? You work for Bloody Good Period. And are you local in Reading? Excellent. Is there anything we can do for you?
Please come and support us at bloodygoodperiod.com to find all the information there. The cost of living crisis is horrible for the people we support.
Okay. So you need tampons, you need moon cups.
We need money that we can turn into periods.
She is not interested in your old tampons. What I heard is if you've got a little stash up the back where you think, oh, I don't use those anymore, I've gone over to the moon cups. Do you know what she doesn't want? Those. What she does want, cash. So if you're sitting here thinking, I don't really think I've got, she wants your money. Some people can't afford any kind of sanitary products and they want... Anyone else? Who else has got a job? Anyone got a job, Reading? Yes, excellent. Woo!
I work for the Balance Menopause app.
The Balance Menopause app. Tell us more.
So it's an app that empowers women with the menopause and perimenopause information so they can track their symptoms and get a diagnosis and access to treatment because it's bloody difficult for women to get a diagnosis and access to treatment for their menopausal symptoms.
Okay.
By Dr. Louise Newson. It's free app. Come on, ladies.
Okay. Just to repeat this for the podcast, it's bloody difficult for women to get their menopausal symptoms diagnosed. This app, just give us a cheer if you found this. If you're perimenopausal, there's no way doctors can know, they've told me. They've just said, you might be, but that doesn't show up on any of our scans or tests. We can only tell if you're menopausal. So you're saying, not that I'm implying I'm anywhere near menopausal, just to be very clear. And if that's what you were thinking, sir, rude. But this app, what's the app called? Balance. But you say it in a French way, like Celia AB, which sounds much, much sexier and cooler. You've made menopause sound sexy. Balance, get a balance app for menopause. You've made it sound like I should be smoking a Gauloise cigarette in a black polo neck as my period shrivels up and dies. Anyone else got a feminist job? Yes.
I'm so sorry because I know I'm speaking out here and it's too loud.
No, you're not. You're not. You're doing brilliantly. Please don't apologise before the feminism. It undermines it. You're doing great. Go on.
I work with men who sexually harm women.
Oh.
Try to stop them doing that to prevent victimisation further along the line.
You work with men. Say this again. You work with men to stop them hurting women again along the line. Do you rehabilitate them? Circles UK. You work with dangerous men who harm women.
We work with them because we think if we work with them, it will stop them
Harming.
other women and it will prevent victimisation. And our mission statement is no more victims.
No more victims. Your mission statement is no more victims. Okay. So you actually work to rehabilitate dangerous men. And does it work?
It does, and I've got lots of evidence to prove it, and we've been working for 20 years now, and we do it to protect women and children, and we say a big part of this picture is we work with the men who harm as part of the picture to protect those who are vulnerable. And this organisation, for everybody here, is based in Reading.
It's based in Reading. Okay, so I haven't asked this question for no reason. We've lost a guest this evening, and I was looking for a Reading feminist to come and talk to us on stage in the second half. Would you be interested in coming and telling us more about that?
I would love to do that. Could I bring my daughter with me? And sorry for being so vocal here.
Don't be sorry. Why are you being sorry?
Because I would love to. Thank you.
Okay, so you want to bring your daughter with you?
Yeah.
Great, okay. And what... Your daughter's saying she doesn't want to do that. She's saying...
I would love to come, and I'd love to say for the people in Reading. Also, this is something...
Okay. Not this has turned into Jerry Springer now.
With a lovely point, from I had one
you're now claiming that there's been one too many Proseccos for guesting? Is that what you're saying? On your behalf or her behalf, or both? I don't know, it's taken a turn, gang. Okay. All right, we're going to come back and we'll let you know, but definitely I would like you to have more platform tonight, because I am interested. And look, you've got the whole first half to sober up. It's ages before this section comes up. Just long enough to ruin the show for you, if I'm completely honest. Okay, so what's your name?
My name is Leah.
Leah, and your daughter's name is? Okay, hold on. You'll have more time. Definitely you're going to have more time. So you don't need to shout now, Leah, because you're going to have a mic, and that would be much better. So Leah, and what's your daughter's name? Ellen. Leah and Ellen. Okay, Leah and Ellen. How do I remember that? Leah like the one out of Back to the Future, and Ellen like DeGeneres. Okay. Or like Star Wars. Yes, Princess Leia and Ellen DeGeneres. How much more feminist could we get, gang? All right, well, we're definitely going to come back to you in one way or another.
Hi, Guilty Feminists. This is Deborah. Our tour concludes. If you haven't come to the live show yet, you can come out where we are in Newcastle on the 16th of June, Manchester in the 17th of June. Both of those shows have Alison Spittle, Kemah Bob and Celia Ray B, and Grace Petrie doing music. In Glasgow, we're on the 18th of June. We are there with extra special guest Josie Long as well. This all builds up to our 7th birthday show at the Hammersmith Apollo on the 1st of October. Then we'll be in Australia and New Zealand. And by we, I do mean Grace Petrie and me, Cal Wilson, Celia Piccola, Steph Tisdale, and more. We are going to be in Adelaide, in Perth, in Canberra, 2 shows, Melbourne, Christchurch, Auckland, Wellington, and Sydney. Get your tickets now. And we've just added a date in Belfast. We haven't forgotten you, 14th of October at Ulster Hall. Tickets are now on sale for Kemah Bob's Fuck It Up Comedy Club at 21 Soho in London every Sunday from the 19th of June. That will be a live podcast recording from the House of the Guilty Feminist, as well as an incredible live show. If you'd like to get your confidence up, sign up for the Big Speeches Workshop on the 26th of June online with Jess Regan, and join our Patreon to get ad-free episodes, monthly Zoom hangouts with me, and more. If you'd like to do the podcast a favour, if you could subscribe or follow, rate and review and give it 5 stars, that will help other people find the podcast. For details about these and to book tickets for everything, go to guiltyfeminist.com. And now, back to the podcast.
Hello, Reading. Are you ready for the second half of the Guilty Feminist? Then please welcome to the stage Deborah Frances-White. Hello. It's me and I'm back. Come on, Reading. So excited. Thank you. Shoring up guests for the second half. This has only happened twice before in the history of the Guilty Feminists, so you're at a night. Just to be clear. Happened once in Manchester when we found a teacher in the audience who taught A-level feminism, and she came out and taught us A-level feminism. Happened once in San Francisco. The head of Planned Parenthood was meant to come along. Planned Parenthood was, now it's very, very, very relevant in America, but she had a family emergency, and we got an incredible woman out of the audience that was in modern-day enslavement, where women were in slavery in houses, and she would get them out safely when they were ready to come in a way that wouldn't endanger other women. And so tonight, Leia, are you still in? You've come back? Because I thought you might have run in fear. How are you feeling about coming out and telling us about that? You don't have to come out, not right now, but how do you feel about coming out? Are you feeling up to it?
I'm so sorry, and one shouldn't apologise as a guilty feminist. But the message I have to give is so important.
Yeah.
I'd like to give it at a night when I haven't had a few glasses.
Okay, thank you, Leia. We'll get you back when you haven't had Prosecco. Okay, this is an appeal to everyone here. Is there anyone here who's not drunk? This is where we're at now. This is where we're at. Does anyone have a feminist job and isn't drunk? And we'll do it like an auction. Just because you say what your job is doesn't mean you have to be a guest, but it will encourage others. So, and we'll find the right people. So, yes, what's your job? No, you'd be very good in a police state there, wouldn't you? It's her. We've got one here. What's your job? She founded a baby bank. That doesn't sound as feminist as all that. Is that where you deposit your baby and pick it up later when it's grown with interest? Or where I can withdraw a baby if I haven't had the forethought to have one? What's a baby bank?
So we work a bit like a food bank. Sorry.
It's like a food bank.
Try to put it properly. So families are referred to us by midwives, health visitors, social workers, anybody who comes in direct contact with families, and we support them with essentials that they need.
So it's like a food bank, but if you have a baby and you need baby essentials. So instead of tinned goods and bread and those kinds of things, it's nappies and basket.
With 16, so it's anything from Moses baskets, buggies, school uniform, period products.
Okay, so everything from birth to 16. It's extending the definition of a baby there, right up until somebody who's legally sexually active, in fact. Okay. So it's a baby, child, teen bank.
We started off with just babies, and then we found that there was just more and more need. And
So you extended it. You started it for babies, and then you discovered those babies were growing up, and you couldn't say, sorry, you too now, fuck off. You started to extend it. Okay, great. All right, super. And we can also have various guests. We can have a panel. Yes, go on. Go on.
I run the Basingstoke branch of the Women's Equality Party.
Basingstoke branch of the Women's Equality Party. Super. Okay, and what? Because the WP's been doing very well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I stood in the local elections for the first time. We got our results a couple of days ago. I got 17% in my ward. Ahead of the Liberal Democrats, the Green Party, and 2 independents, and I was narrowly behind Labour for second place.
Okay, great. All right. So that's very, very interesting. All right. Anybody else want to throw their hat into the ring? Tell me more.
I help upskill people in the NHS, which is mostly women.
You help upskill people in the NHS, which is mostly women. Okay. And by upskill, you mean you work on their qualifications so they can do more things? Yeah. Okay, great. All right. So if you would like to be... Anyone else before I go on? Yes. Okay, great. An antenatal teacher and a doula. Okay, all right. I don't want you to... I can feel people like going, oh, I want to hear that, or I want to hear that, I want to hear that. But I don't want to cheer... Like, in a normal comedy situation, you go, just give us a cheer for the doula! And that doesn't feel right, does it? It's like, just give us a cheer if you don't give a fuck about baby banks! Like, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to do it that way. So I think we should have, like, a little panel where we have... people who... Do you see what I mean? I feel like we should have a little panel. And I'm trying to put a good panel together from those people. So can we just remind... You, sir, what's your name? Nathan. Nathan, I imagine you are a man who enjoys being right. Am I correct?
That is not true.
Yeah, and your wife is endorsing that and saying he really loves being right. Okay, so Nathan... Yeah. She's not my wife yet. Are you about to propose here, live at the God's Feminist? Because that's all the other guests are over now. It's just you can be the guest if you're going to propose live on stage because we've not had that yet. So Nathan, can you remember the people that we've heard from? So this is like the generation game, but for feminism.
So there was the baby bank.
Baby bank.
There was the doula, and I'm not actually sure what that is, actually, so I'm quite interested.
You're not sure what a doula is, sir?
Nope.
Okay. People are going to turn. A doula is like a midwife. It's a sort of midwife.
Okay.
Is that uninclusive? It's someone who empowers the woman. It's not medical.
Okay.
It's sort of like a coach. a cheerleader type coach who goes, you can do it? Is there as a sort of engagement, spiritual... that kind of thing. But you're not going to say, oh, you're 4 centimetres dilated. You're going to say, mentally, you're 4 centimetres dilated. Is that right? I think we should have the doula because we don't know what a doula is, clearly. Okay, what's your name? Serena. Okay, Serena. Who else can you remember?
You know what, I've been using that moment to try and remember.
You've been using that moment to try and remember. Well, I can remember more than that, Nathan. WEP, Basingstoke.
The Women's Equality Party, yes.
Yes, I've already said that one now. So you can't be right by saying it again, I'm afraid. That's...
To be fair, I was just disappointed in the Lib Dems.
To be fair, you were disappointed in the Lib Dems.
That's what I remember most about that.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that, Nathan. It's an unpopular opinion in this room, Nathan. Back away from it. So WEP, doula, bloody good period. Oh, the Menopause app. And was there anyone else? What was that? Oh, NHS Upskiller. Yes, absolutely. Okay, all right. So what we could do, just trying to put this show together, imagine I'm backstage now going, here are our options, could put this together. What I think could be interesting is if we put together menopause with doulas, because they're both sort of, do you know what I mean, different parts of someone's life, and we could put in there an NHS upskiller, but also WP Basingstoke, you're on our noisy and annoying group, aren't you? Yeah, absolutely. I owe you. So why don't we say we're going to make this a sort of really full, lovely episode. What was your name who does the menopause app? Gail. Okay. Gail, are you interested in telling us about it? Yeah. Okay, great. And the lady who's the doula, what's your name? Serena, thank you. Thank you. People have remembered. WP? Stacey, of course. I know you from the WhatsApp group. And NHS Upskill? Kirsty. I keep wanting to say upskirt, and that's not right. Definitely not right. Okay. So, do you think if we got... This is too many, and if Tom were here, he'd be going, Deborah, it's too many. Why have you done too many? And the answer is because I cannot choose. And it's been difficult enough. Okay, Tom? Wherever you are. I know you're listening to this because you're editing it. It's been difficult enough. So what I might do, because they're all of a sort of theme, doula, NHS, and menopause. Birth to menopause, yes, absolutely. And we'll have you three, and then we'll have Stacey come out. You know, sometimes we do like a Charity of the Week spot. Okay, so after Felicity's set, while Felicity and I are larking around on the sofa, if your name is Serena or Gail or Kirsty or Stacey, and you're one of the people I've spoken to, not just if you happen to be called Gail, don't think, oh, well, I'm also called Gail, I need to go to the foyer. That's a that's a misreading of what I've just said. If you're one of those people, go to the foyer. Stuart, our tour manager, will come and meet you there and bring you backstage. Okay? Are you happy? Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Is everybody happy or is anybody unhappy? Okay, great. This is going to be a really exciting episode because we really are here from local Reading feminists who are doing something in your community, and if there'll be definitely someone here you can get behind and connect with. But before that, would you like to see some incredible stand-up comedy? She's a Guilty Feminist regular. She's a Guilty Feminist favourite. Wherever I go in the country, people always say, are you bringing this comedian? And today, I genuinely am. Put your hands together and make incredible woohooing noises for the wonderful Felicity Ward!
I've never worn sunglasses on stage, so I I feel pretty cool, except for the fact that I'm short-sighted and these are not prescription, so I cannot see your faces. Anyway, I'll just take them off. Hi, how you going? Woo! Wasn't that a lot of mid-show admin? I was like, they're like, all right, get ready. I'm like, and they're like, this sounds like audience interact. Oh, we're booking this show. Okay. Put my flats back on. It is so nice to be here. I absolutely love a guilty feminist audience. Can't even say the word, I'm so excited. A guilty feminist audience. It's an accent I have. I'm a little bit exotic. Did someone hurt you? Were they Australian? Probably. If not physically, definitely emotionally. We will crush you. I don't know what I'm talking about. Look, I don't know why I'm walking like this. The good people of the podcast will have no idea what I'm talking about, so this one is not for them. Something for the room, you know? Something for the room. So I've done this podcast so many times. I always do material, recent material. I have run out of recent material. So now I am doing my next 3 shows. Or just for whenever I come on, it will just be new stuff and I don't know if I've done I don't know what I'm talking about. I had a baby and I now have damage to my brain. I do. I don't know... you know the phrase baby brain? Before I had a kid, I thought, like, I'm a feminist, but before I had a kid, I thought that my friends used the phrase baby brain to cover up for the fact that they were dumb. Dumb and very forgetful. And then I had a baby and I read about it. And you can actually lose up to 20% of your grey matter for 2 years. Now, that is not baby brain, that is brain damage. That is damage to your brain. I have forgotten everything. I couldn't remember the word cemetery the other day and I called it a death garden. I'm not right, but I'm not wrong. You know what I mean? I couldn't think of roof. I'm like, the hat for your house. The hat for your house. I've been experimenting with higher necklines. I know you were going to ask. And because I feel like I'm getting to the last of my cleavage years. And no, it's all right. Stop. Oh, shut up. No, like, obviously someone finds, like, my rack sexy now. I'm an H cup, obviously. Like, that's maths, you know. But I feel like I'm about 5 years away from being called brave. And I can't be having brave. Like, when I walk past a building site now, I know how to handle myself. They whistle, I'm like, yuck, secretly, yes. What I can't handle is walking past a building site and have one of them yell out, good for you, actually. At your age, good for you. I don't want builders to be allies, you know? It upsets the balance of nature, I think. Because I'm at a weird age. I'm not quite, but I'm nearly old. I'm on the cusp of being pitied. I'm too old for the club, but too young for aquarobics. I'm at a very specific age that you click over. Is lovely here. What's your name? Lucy. Lucy, if you don't mind me asking, and I hope this isn't a slur, I'm an older person, so I don't always get my language right. Would you identify as young? Is that a slur? I don't know. How old are you, Lucy? 28. Yeah, that's pretty young. Okay. And Lucy, do you like live music? Yeah. Who's your, like, dream band to see live? A lot of pressure, I know. Do not fuck this up for me, Lucy. I've got a lot of people watching, yeah? No, I'm joking. You can say anyone. You can literally say, you could make up a name and I go, sick. Tame Impala. So on the cards, could happen this summer, right? They're coming over. You picked an Australian band too. You're flirting with me, Lucy. So I love live music too, right? I would die for live music. What? Was I in an all-girl grunge band in the 90s? Yes, we don't have time to talk about it now. So I love live music. What were we called? We were called Bastion. Lucy, the questions are getting intrusive. I've got to move on with the jokes, yeah? So I love live music. What's Bastion? Bastion's the little boy that read in the Never-Ending Story. I get it, we're original. Shut up. So I love live music, would die for live music, but I have reached an age now, and it's probably about 7 years off for you. It hasn't hit you yet. I will still go and see my favourite band. Of course I will. Go and see them live. Of course I will. But I have reached an age now where I will leave in the encore before their big hit to beat the traffic in the car park. It's a very specific age. These people are going to leave in 10 minutes. They're like, the show's running over. I got a babysitter. I don't have time for this. Woo! Babysitters! Do you have kids or are you a babysitter? You're going to go in 5 minutes? Well, I better hurry the fuck up and make you laugh. So I just had a kid 3 years ago, and my little fella is at home, not by himself, obviously. He's got the iPad, or mum, as he started calling it. And like many people, I got fat while I was pregnant, pretty standard. I stayed fat after birth, controversial. I got fatter in lockdown. I'm an inspiration. Thank you. And I'm not super fat, but I am heaps fatter than I used to be. I have been a size 6 my entire life, and now I'm a size 14. Now, that is not obese, but what I would say now is I could be realistically cast in a movie as a bus driver. Like, when I was a size 6, if they saw me, they'd go, fucking actors. Now, if they saw me in a movie, they go, yeah, she looks like she's got a heavy vehicle licence. And I absolutely love it. I love it. I love it. You know why? Because I've been cold since 1997. Do you know what a privilege it is to sweat in winter? I love it. And from the front, I've still got my hourglass figure, just more from the side. Bit of an egg timer, yeah? Just a bit of an egg timer. Always wear my bike pants, safety first. I'm a dynamic performer. I don't want to hold myself back. I want to be able to do this. And what? Did I do jazz ballet 93? Come on. Peninsula School of Dance, that hurt. And very lopsided now. We'll have to massage the hip. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so I love that I've put on lots and lots of weight. This little fella, my post-baby gut, I think of it as... You know when you get a really expensive present, but you keep the box just in case you want to send it back? That's what this guy is. That's what this guy is. I'm sure people do that. I've never had like a belly before. The amount of time over the last 2.5 years I've just gone, yummy, 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 yummy. Does anyone else do that with their belly? Like, yummy, yummy, yummy. I do get a lot more front wedgies though now. I did not know that they were synonymous. Not a joke, just a little inside information for you. I have loved being this weight. There's only 3 times that I've been sad, and you go get that babysitter, baby. You do it. You did great. Yeah, get an early night. She was a bitch, wasn't she? No, I'm I'm sorry. There's only been 3 times... Oh, I've got a hair in my mouth. Gross. Please be mine. And... 3 times that I've sort of felt like sad about putting on weight. And the first time, it's quite emotional to talk about, was while I was pregnant and... sorry, I haven't talked about this a lot. I got too fat for my leggings, and you just think... Like, they're the one piece of clothing you think will never betray you, you know? Like, that's what you turn to when you're getting fat. It's the last bastion of weight gain. Well, no, the scarf is probably the last bastion of weight gain. If I get too fat for a scarf, probably then we can have a chat about it. Up until then, absolutely fine. The second time, I wasn't sad. It was just sort of like more of a surprise. I was on my laptop and it just started glitching. It was just like reading. It was going down and down and down. I'm like, oh no, this is a new computer. I'm going to have to take it back. It wasn't glitching. It was just my gut on the touchpad just rolling down by itself. Mind you, there's a bright side to it now. Biscuit, cup of tea, read an article, hands-free. Oh, missed a bit, scroll back up. It doesn't work as well in a floppy dress. The third time wasn't sad or surprising. It was just funny. It was just funny. And it was the first time that my little boy stayed overnight at his grandparents' house. And we closed the door and I looked at my husband and did what I always used to do when I was a size 6. I ran towards him and went, woohoo, ready to jump into his arms. And he went, oh. And then he said the kindest thing. He said, we are both very different weights than we used to be. He's a funny fella. When I was very grumpy and very, very pregnant, and I was like 8.5 weeks. I wasn't. Imagine being that big at 8.5 weeks. You're like, you're going to have to go to hospital. I was 8.5 months pregnant. I was really grumpy and I was walking around the house and I was getting sick of it. And he just popped his head into the lounge room and went, the circular wife. It's funny. Check my set list, yeah. I am very aggressive. It's the same one. No, I'm very aggressive about how extraordinary pregnancy is because I think that people are very blasé about it. And I used to be blasé about it. I was like, oh, yeah, it's amazing. Wow, yeah, the person, whatever. Honestly, there's so many... I judged people so badly before I had kids. So badly. I was always like, I'm like, oh yeah, people with uteruses are incredible, but then they'd have a kid and they're like, oh, I haven't had a shower for 6 days. I'm like, you haven't got 5 minutes to have a little shower. I know you got to, yeah, it's hard. You're very tight. I get it. I've done Edinburgh Fringe Festival. But I genuinely thought that I could understand what it was like to have a kid or to be pregnant or what it did to you. And I had no fucking idea. I was clueless. And when I was pregnant, I was just walking around like angry that everyone wasn't mind blown. The fact that I was just upright, just making someone. Are you fucking kidding me? I can take a sperm, put it in there and make you. What the fuck are you talking about? That is an X-Files plot line. That is insane. Imagine reading that as a headline. Woman pushes smaller woman from out of her vagina. That should run a week minimum front page. It's extraordinary. I can have a baby, hold my nose, sneeze too hard, and then out it comes. I am fucking amazing. Incredible. And I'm so aggressive about it. I'm concerned that when my son first goes to kindergarten, he's going to come home and with a little painting go, oh, Mum, it was my first day. Look what I made. And I'm going to grab him by the scruff of the neck. I'm going to take him to a mirror and go, look what I made. How are we going for time? We have 1 minute left. All right. There was a lot of floor time, wasn't there? Okay, how am I going to finish this? Okay, we're going back. I don't have the core strength you saw. I have yummy. I have met a lot of different mothers since having a child of my own. I've met the creepy mothers. You know, the mothers that say, here's the love of my life. And I don't need anybody else now that I've got my baby and he's my best friend. You know those mums that give off like Judy Murray vibes? Well, it turns out I am one of those mothers. I am an absolute creep, mate. I sniff his head every day. I like gum at his back if he's got his shirt on. I'm like, nom, 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 nom. I love him. Why wouldn't I? We have so much in common. We love pressing buttons, waving at strangers, and being chased. He is amazing. Now I want to get Judy Murray on the line. I'm like, what is your motherfucking secret? Because Andy Murray is a world champion tennis player, athlete, coach, Olympian, husband, father, and yet Judith Murray is in the tennis box every single match. What is your secret, bitch? Because if I want to have that kind of codependent relationship with my son when he's in his 40s, I've got to start now, yeah? You've got to sow those seeds of dysfunction. They don't happen overnight. If you want enmeshment to grow like the disease that it is, you can't just ask a 25-year-old boy, hey, I've set up a single bed in my bedroom. Why don't you come and sleep back with mum? No. He's never allowed to leave in the first place. You've got to make it seem normal, yeah? I don't have a punchline for that joke, but it feels... We're just going to leave it there. I've been Felicity Ward. Thank you. Oh, my shoe nearly came off.
Felicity Ward.
Hey, Debs.
Hey, listen.
I'm going to.
Do you know what we're talking about tonight? We're getting...
Feminism?
Yeah, yes, but also some medical stuff that feminists need to know about.
Yes.
So, for example, here's an example. How much do you know about childbirth?
Fucking heaps.
Because you've recently given birth to such a child.
Because I have, but I was astonished at how little I knew.
Before it came out of you.
Even while I was pregnant, I just kept going... all I wanted to do was write a book called How Come Nobody Told Me? And then I looked it up and someone had already written a book called How Come Nobody Told Me? We get no education, and the education that we get is, depending on how old you are, when you were 14, 15, for maybe a term, you put a condom on a banana. It might be different now, I don't know. I was back in the Jurassic period at high school. But it just simple things. I didn't know that
you sofa had a cup holder.
I just found that out.
That's incredible.
You've got to learn to explore your own couch more. That's a euphemism.
It's got a speaker here, so you can play music out of the side of it. It's so trashy.
Is it Bluetooth or is it? Oh, it is Bluetooth. Can I put on a tune?
I mean, by all means, act like you're in the musical Grease.
Yeah. No. I want to do a better song than that. I want to actually tell you. I don't know why I'm doing this. You don't
okay. While you're doing this,
okay.
What do you know about menopause?
It's coming to get me.
Yes, that is correct. Why is it called menopause? Can't we have anything?
Give me a break, right?
Menopause. I'm just like, dudes, take the men out of menopause. Surely at the minimum it should be called womenopause.
Maybe it's called menopause because it makes you so angry and for a long time and you don't know whether it's actually here or it's going to happen, and then it happens and it takes all of your joy away.
Are you saying men sometimes rob your joy?
Sometimes.
Men have been known to sometimes rob Felicity Ward's joy / the joy of other women.
Tweet that.
But menses, it's true, menstruation, that's also got men in it.
It does. It's almost like it probably has a root word in Latin or Greek that means something else.
I still find it upsetting.
Are there any linguists in? Are there anyone smarter than me that knows?
They're all drunk, we've established that.
Some of my best work was when I was drinking. Does anyone speak like a little bit of a language, but then you have a few drinks and you're like, I could run for government here.
Yes.
When you have a few drinks, whatever language you speak, because it's about confidence.
I also feel it's desperation. So if I'm
no, that's our step.
If my car's broken down in France, I can suddenly speak French because I have to.
Yes.
Or if I'm somewhere with someone who doesn't speak any of the language, I suddenly become super fluent and they get really impressed. But it's just that they won't know if I'm making any errors. And so I just boldly go for it. I do remember saying to a man on the highway, my car is sick.
My car is sick.
Yeah, I said it in French.
Oh, I love that. I love when you're trying
worried.
to put sentences together.
Yeah, and I was adorable. Now, I'm sure.
Do you know what the Bluetooth name of this is? Because I may have just connected to someone's phone in the audience.
It's possible. Now, what are you saying?
It's not plugged in.
It's not plugged in. Stuart's
Oh,
saying.
thanks, Stuart. I've just spent 10 goddamn minutes trying to play Usher's Yeah.
If you could find Usher's Yes, Stuart, and just whenever you're ready, just bang it in.
Do. That's what I teach my son to do. I go, do. And I point to him, and he thinks I'm saying yaya instead of yaya because he's Greek, half Greek, and so his grandma is yaya. So I go, do, and he goes, yaya. And I go, do, and he goes, what? It's great.
So he thinks Usher's Yeah is about his nana.
Yeah.
About his granny.
Yeah, he thinks...
That's the most adorable thing
He
I've
thinks
ever heard.
Usher is about to get fed really well for the rest of his life.
That's as adorable as me saying, ma
it's not.
voiture est mal.
My car is sick.
Yeah.
Is that what you just said?
I mean, I think something like that. It's my car is bad.
Someone
My
just
car
went,
is bad.
no.
My car is bad. Ma voiture est malade.
Celia has left the building, by the way.
Je m'excuse. Sorry, what was that? Je m'excuse, monsieur.
You would think she would be desperate now, but she does not sound desperate.
No. Mayday. See, I'm adorable. Now listen, we've got a French guest coming on. Should we get our guests on? I think we should.
Yes.
Okay, our first guest today is a local Reading doula. Please put your hands together and make incredible wooing noises for Serena.
No, more cheering. More.
Thank you, Serena. So wonderful to meet you.
Hi, Serena.
Thank you very much.
Our second guest today is not an NHS upskirter. I need to stop thinking. I'm seeing on the clipboard. Is an NHS upskiller. Please put your hands together and make incredible wooing noises for Kirsty.
You've got to clap till they get to the couch.
Yes.
These are not professional speakers. They've been amazing by helping us.
Yeah, you've got to make a fuss of them. They're basically you, but imagine if you now suddenly were there. Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
Lucy panicked when I asked her favourite band. Imagine if I
saying.
also said, could you now come up and talk about your industry for 15 minutes? That white suit would have a brown stain at the back.
You know I don't like scatology jokes.
Sorry.
Now, our third guest today, how do I say has an app in French?
Why are you looking at me? I barely speak English.
Okay, fair enough. It has a... What's that? Thank you. Une
that was
application de Menopause. Applaudez, s'il vous plaît, pour Gail. Hello, Gail. Hello. Bonjour. Now, firstly, I do need to say, I just need to send the love of Susan Wakoma, who was meant to be here with us tonight on the sofa as well, but she is making a film. She's writing and directing her own short film in anticipation of a feature film. So could you just have a big round of applause for Susan Wakoma to encourage her in this act?
Go, Suzy!
Becoming a director. We do not have enough female directors in this country or this world, much less, and we definitely don't have enough black female directors in this world. So Susan Wakoma sends her love, and we will send our love back to her. I promise to do that. Now, we need some hardcore information about how things work.
In the government.
So first things first, doula-wise, Serena, it is clear that we don't know what a doula is.
Do not include me in that conversation. Look, I saw you struggle. I know what it... Oh, you were talking about we as in the audience. Oh.
Yeah, I meant we collectively in society is not clear enough about what doulas do and are. Flick, did you have a doula?
I did not have a doula.
Well, I don't think you really know either then.
I do. I've seen pieces of her. Was it pieces of her where they had a doula?
Yes, she did.
You watching an independent
midwife?
A private midwife, right. No, it's like a spokesperson, isn't it? Where you are not like... I'm gathered here today. I don't know what that means. That's not what I mean either. That's
a registrar.
That's a celebrant for a wedding.
Felicity, I cannot believe you've interrupted the doula to explain her job to her by saying, I once saw an independent film and I think you're a marriage celebrant for vaginas. That's not...
Marriage celebrant for vaginas. What a
not
so
much. No.
Not at all, no.
No.
Okay. Now...
Am I mansplaining doula-ism to you?
Did you say you're married to a Greek?
I'm married to a Greek, yes.
Yeah.
A Cypriot
okay, so
Greek.
the word doula is a Greek word. There you go. And it means slave.
Oh. That's not good.
That is not what I anticipated.
It's the highest paid slave in the Greek household.
Is this in ancient Greece?
Ancient Greece.
No, this is now. This is 2022.
Well, we are
Minimum wage
highly
just went
paid.
up.
If it's a quick birth, then it pro rata it's highly paid. But normally births, as you well probably know, are quite long.
They drag on.
So they tend to not be a massive earner.
Yeah. I mean, you would have won. I was quick. I was out.
Were you? Oh, that's very good.
How
surprised.
long were you in labour?
Well, there's stages to labour. Another thing I did not know. It's just
You
basic
didn't have
shit.
any antenatal?
No,
training?
that's when I learnt about it. Like I knew there was different stages, but I didn't know there was like labour and then active labour and then the pushing. I'm like, hey, there was so
many stages.
Can I tell you this is the most embarrassing thing that I didn't know. There's
me.
two. Okay, the first one is bad. The second one is so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm even saying it.
Doulas have seen everything.
No, this is really like dumb shit.
Yeah, bet I've seen it.
I didn't know that your body makes a placenta for the baby.
That's what makes you sick in the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought you just always had a placenta, just hanging. Like a liver.
Like an appendix or something?
Yeah.
You thought every woman had a placenta inside of her?
Yeah.
Or every cis...
If you have a uterus, you probably got a placenta just like, here when you need me. That's what I thought.
Right.
But that makes it even more miraculous that your body goes, hey, having a baby, I'm on it. Bang, 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 umbilical cord, baby, placenta. It's incredible.
I know.
Okay, this is the dumbest. This is so dumb, you will not respect me. I wasn't 100% sure that a uterus and a womb were the same thing.
Aw. That's okay.
Some people...
Serena.
I am sorry you're not my doula, Serena.
No, she is serene.
Does it? No.
You are serene. I can see why I would want you in. If I had to push a human being out of a hole the size of a tampon, I would want you there. Oh. So, could you please tell us what a doula is, what a doula does, and what we should know about it as feminists?
And what you get paid. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, not enough. No, it's a wonderful thing to do. You take on board a new couple, and it can be a gay couple or it can be a woman on her own. I've doulaed for solo women who've got pregnant by IVF, and you are with them on the pregnancy journey. So you get hired, you get interviewed and hopefully hired, and you become...
Like a spokesperson.
Yeah, an advocate partly. So yes, you're right.
Yeah, a lot of people made fun of me about the uterus womb situation.
You help them grow with the idea that they can take on this challenge and that they can give it their very best. You help them not be frightened of it. You can bring the partner into play so they know their role. You basically are, you are the slave, so you need to know about their house, like where their knicker drawer is. You need to know how to make them a cup of tea, where the toaster is, what they might like as their food. You do a lot of prep like that. You might help them with choices of stuff if they want to buy things and get some guidance, just because that's useful for them. But you're on call from around 2 weeks before their due date, and you can go with them to their antenatal if they have anything where they're worried about. So you can go with them to see if they're told, oh, you're 41, you're too old for what you want to water birth. You can help them set up their appointment with their head of midwifery, and then they will take on board that one woman and they will look at her their case notes, and they might well say, well, we understand that's what you'd like, so let's help you get that.
So if you're 41, you're considered to be a geriatric.
Yeah.
Much younger. Much younger, you're considered geriatric.
But your body may be perfectly capable of birthing the way you'd like in a birth pool. And so someone who can help you make that happen.
Advocate for you.
Yeah, just can go to a meeting or help you understand that if you speak to head of midwifery, they will look at your case individually. It's like being able to check in for a flight, ask for an upgrade to first class, and jolly well get one.
Well, we love that.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very
And then we're
that's
with
interesting.
them through the labour.
Do you think that women and other people who can get pregnant need doulas partly because women are not really listened to enough, and other people with uteruses are not listened to enough, and that's why we need an advocate, because it's like the medical profession is like, when they hear women speak?
Yes and no. The pathways which are there for women are good, but it very often feels for the user of the service that they're not really listened to, and it can feel as if a woman doesn't seem to have choices. And one of the common things they say is, oh, am I allowed? Or I wasn't allowed to do this, or I'm...
Right.
And you are allowed to do whatever you like.
So that
really.
sounds more yes than no.
Yeah. You are... Everything is a choice.
But it might not have been presented to you as a choice, or someone may have dismissed something.
Or it's just a general myth. It's just a general understanding
myth,
that you are not a doctor, therefore you don't know what's best.
Right. And sometimes there are more choices open to you than you think.
And you need to be able to make an informed decision. So in order to be able to make that decision, if you're offered an induction, for instance, and you'd really rather not have one, you need to be given the choices, and you need to be told what the outcomes could be if you take. So we have to be careful that women don't feel coerced, and it can be sugar-coated quite nicely.
Yes.
Okay.
So my water broke at 3:00 in the morning, but I didn't have any contractions. We went into hospital. They said, we're going to book you in for 8 a.m. the next day. So their rule of thumb was that if you hadn't gone into labour in the next 24 hours, that they were going to induce you.
But that should have been just a choice.
And it is a choice. And I let them book me in, but I went into labour 12 hours later.
Right.
But because I did hypnobirthing, we watched some videos online.
Good.
But it was really helpful to go, right, it's actually 72 hours after. It's not dangerous, technically, until if your water has broken, that it's not for another 72 hours before infection could come into the uterus or womb, either one. Same entrance.
Can we bring you in here? This seems like a good time to talk to you about upskilling in the NHS, because a lot of times we know women are not listened to. Women and people of minority genders tend to be dismissed. Not all the time, of course, but it's a common thread. It's it can be a trend that you don't really know what's good for you, or you're not going to be heard about this. Yeah. What are you doing in upskilling to combat that?
So the work that I'm involved in and my team is involved in is around all kinds of upskilling. So I'm sure there's people in the NHS with us tonight, and one way that you can upskill in the NHS is through an apprenticeship. Now, when I started doing this work, my first thought of an apprenticeship was like a Victorian child or a welder, or, you know, like... But you can
a Victorian child becoming a welder. It's very specific, but I know what you mean. It was like Oliver Twist. It's like you go and do an apprenticeship as an undertaker or something.
Yeah.
As someone who's from a country where Federation came a lot later than Victorian times, I'm like, hey, that made no sense. I'm like, are they like tradesmen?
Yeah.
So an apprenticeship in Australia would tend to be like, instead of going to university to do a useless English degree like I did, instead you would go and learn to be an electrician, and it's partly at college, partly on the job.
Exactly. Whereas a Victorian child in Australia is a young boy from Melbourne. Little geography joke there for you. Not a good one, but a joke.
And of course you can do an apprenticeship in the UK in being an electrician or being a mechanic or all of those kind of things.
But there are apprenticeships in the NHS. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So across the NHS, there are about 350 different careers. So that's everyone from a porter to an anaesthetist and everything in between.
But can you start out as a porter and do an apprenticeship and become an anaesthetist?
In theory, yes.
Can you? No. Stop it.
Wow.
What?
So...
I'm not sure I want that.
Well, you've got to think, there's a lot of porters in the UK who weren't porters in their home country. They might be very highly skilled from somewhere else. So
I do want that.
It depends where you're starting from.
Yeah. And there's no reason people need to go to a special building to learn it over there when they could learn it here on the job.
So at this point in time, you can't become a doctor, you can't do a medical degree as an apprenticeship, but it will be soon.
Wow.
And there's, of those 350 careers, 100 of them are currently available as an apprenticeship. So nursing, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, all the psychological professions outside of psychiatry, all of these things can be done as a job that you study.
You know what makes more sense now you've said it? Because we just look at the model that we've got and that's what makes us feel safe. But why would going to a building that had nothing to do with the hospital and learning things from books just by rote and then having to go more into a situation that was closer to the job while drinking a lot and stealing traffic cones in the evening be better than going into the place where doing a job that was adjacent while watching the doctors and learning it and still having to remember all of those things but having more of a 360 understanding of what you're remembering? Why would it be better to do it nowhere near a hospital? It makes so much sense now that you say it.
And of course there is a place for that. I'm not arguing that it should be one or the other. Like that would
Sounds like you are.
Well, if my boss is listening, I definitely am.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But the advantage of apprenticeships is all of that. And also, you know, as we know, there's loads and loads of reasons why people can't go to university in the traditional way. A lot of these apprenticeships are degree apprenticeships. So you come out with the same degree. Wow. Like it's exactly the same as, you know, if you'd have studied with work placements on the side. But if you have caring responsibilities, if you come from a background where people maybe didn't go to university so much, or there's loads and loads of reasons why this is a better option for people.
It's like a lease to buy car.
Exactly.
No, it makes sense to me because you're there, you're seeing it, you're getting some hands-on experience, even if you're not obviously doing it yourself. You're observing, you're in the atmosphere. You also know more if this is what you ultimately want to do. Because I know people who've become doctors and then spent a year in a hospital and gone, I hate this.
I don't like blood.
Yeah, and it's gone from academic to real. So there's something about going where it's happening and seeing, do I like this environment? Can I handle the pressure? While still having to learn all the things. We don't want them just to sort of, you know, to not be fully qualified. But in a way, it's an opportunity to become more qualified and more practically qualified.
Well, that's what the evidence seems to suggest, because the retention in apprenticeship graduates, for want of a better word, is really high. And that is not always true with clinical roles and non-clinical roles across health. So, yeah.
Wow. And do you think learning on the job, learning via an apprenticeship, is more likely to give you the experience you need, in this instance, to listen to women and people of minority genders if they have, by the medical field, been dismissed sometimes?
I think it's difficult to make massive generalisations about either side, but I do think that because one of the key drivers of workforce planning in the NHS is to try and have a workforce that reflects the populations it's serving. And if you have lots of people who don't reflect that population, then they're not going to understand all the differences or like you say, listen. And if you've got a lot of people who, went to certain types of schools, went to certain types of universities, and, have had that kind of experience compared to patients who have different experiences, then there's naturally going to be a gap. Through nobody's fault, there's just a gap. Whereas if you have lived and worked in those kind of worlds and you know a bit more and maybe okay, people do things in this way over here or this way over there, it's more naturally going to be there, I would say. Yeah.
So it's a way to recruit more people with the lived experience that will be relatable to a broader section of patients.
Yeah. And a lot of those people in apprenticeships, and we have the data on this, have a have diverse backgrounds. So by the very fact that you may have lived that yourself or you might have known somebody who has, then, you're more likely to understand it.
Because an apprenticeship pays. So you're not somebody who's necessarily can go off and afford to do a degree.
Yeah.
Or whose family, for who it is normal. In your family, everyone goes to university, you just have to do that.
And you may well already be working. So, for instance, with a job like nursing, one of the roles that leads into nursing is a role called a healthcare support worker. There are lots of people in the NHS who are working as healthcare support workers and would love to be nurses, but for various reasons haven't tried, haven't had the confidence, haven't got the skill set yet, haven't been encouraged to take that jump or thought that they couldn't. And this gives them an option of, staying in the same employer with often the same team, but getting this on the side and getting that university education with it. It's a softer route.
That is phenomenal. I'm so happy we've heard about this. So if people are listening, how do they apply for such roles?
So the best thing to do is look at, because, we're going to be hearing from a lot of people, is to look at your local employers, so your local hospitals, your local GP surgeries, your local care homes. That's look on their websites. The big hospitals have careers websites. Often they're really detailed, lots of information. Just go through that local website and see what's available to you. There is also a great website called NHS Careers, which has loads of guidance in a broad sense. That won't necessarily have the job vacancies, but it will lead to NHS jobs, which does have the vacancies.
Amazing. I love this. Gail, menopause. We need to know everything about it, and we've got about 4 minutes. So you're just going to talk about menopause like a TED Talk. No, you don't have to do that.
8 minutes, a bit more.
No, tell us about menopause.
No, thanks for the time. It's a very important topic because, as I mentioned earlier on, actually 25% of women suffer very severe symptoms that are very debilitating, but 77% do not realize that these symptoms are related to their hormone deficiency. Mm-hmm. So the menopause, first of all, is not for an old woman thing. Our youngest patient is actually 19 years old.
19? So, can you have menopause at 19?
Menopause can be triggered if your ovaries are removed, and it can happen because of a surgical intervention, for example. So we need to think, we need to change this taboo, we need to change the image that we have about the menopause. The menopause affects absolutely everyone in every culture, at every age, every religion, etc. So that's the first thing. The fact that the YD Balance app was born, and it's a free app, you can find it on the App Store, is because women really are suffering, and they can't recognize the symptoms nor their GP, because GPs are not trained in the menopause as part of their course, right? So women are...
Sorry, I missed that. GPs are?
Very few GPs are trained in the menopause as part of their education.
Very few GPs are trained in the menopause, but...
Correct.
Surely about half of their patients will at some point in their life get it.
Exactly.
Deb,
exactly.
I don't know if you've visited any tube station, but most of them are not equipped for people with prams. Now, you would think, given most of us have been in a pram at one point, like probably 99.9% of people have been in prams, that they go, we should probably do this, but they're like, I just feel like it's a women problem. And so it doesn't get solved.
And you mentioned it being dismissed earlier on, and again, this is something that a lot of women on the app, we have a community on the app, I know there's a few users there, talk to us about. They are being dismissed as well, so because they're not being understood, they are being referred to secondary care, they're being given antidepressants, which actually have zero impact because the menopause is a hormone deficiency.
So they're given antidepressants, but they've got a hormone deficiency, so the antidepressants don't work.
Correct.
Oh.
So it's the workplace is hemorrhaging women with talent. Again, we are very passionate about talking about kind of parity of women, especially in top positions, and really getting kind of also employers to think about that and to really understand what is the cause. Why are women leaving the workplace? 1 in 10 women is leaving the workplace because their menopausal symptoms are not being addressed.
Wow.
Yes, 12% are not going for promotion because they've lost confidence. Because, the symptoms of the menopause are not just physical, they're psychological. Women are losing confidence, they have brain fog, they cannot think anymore. And women are just leaving the workplace. So don't leave the workplace. Stay with us. And,
don't leave your job because of the menopause. But we've got an HRT crisis in this country right now, yeah? We can't get HRT in
one part
in
of HRT, which is the gel. Some other types of HRT are available. So if you guys are suffering and can't get your gel, go to see your GP and ask for a replacement. Patches are available at the moment. So go and see your GP and ask an alternative. We've also published alternatives on the balance-menopause.com website. You can, see what replacements are currently available.
But it is an issue, and we need to do a whole episode on the menopause, really. But I'm interested in what's your app called? Balance. I thought it was. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to hear you say it again, to be honest.
Actually, there's 2 on the App Store. Make sure you choose Balance. Menopause. Balance Menopause.
Balance Menopause.
Could I just ask a question? Could you say in French, "My car is sick"?
My car is sick,
It's very important.
Ma voiture est très malade.
Yay! Okay, so if you're approaching the menopause, or you think you might be, download the Balance Menopause app.
Balance.
And put in any symptoms you've got and start working with that app. Because it is a shock to me that most GPs are not trained in the menopause.
And you can download the health report, So you download your health report and you bring it to your doctor because it takes 7% of women more than 10 appointments to get a diagnosis. But download that health report from the app, take it to your GP, and you'll get your diagnosis in 10 minutes.
You're like a menopause doula.
I like that.
Brilliant. Could we have a huge round of applause for Serena, Kirsty, and Gail? Don't go anywhere.
Because we've got some wonderful prizes.
Don't go anywhere. But we did say that we would hear from Stacey from the WEP Basingstoke. Stacey, are you there? Yeah. Big round of applause for Stacey. Stacey, come out, take the mic. You know what you're doing.
Yes.
So, Stacey, give us your elevator pitch for what you're doing and what you need.
Okay, so...
Oh, hang on.
Hello.
Yay, there you go.
Great. So most of you here, I imagine, know about the Women's Equality Party, and if you don't, I suggest rather than me wasting your time, you go and listen to some of the amazing podcast episodes where Women's Equality Party people have featured before. But I started the Basingstoke branch in 2019. Shout out, by the way, to WEP Reading, who are also in the house tonight, but didn't shout as loudly as I did, maybe. They're an amazing branch. We are a proudly inclusive and intersectional branch of the Women's Equality Party. We have campaigns on everything ranging from equality in school sports to ending violence against women and girls to smear testing for disabled women and all kinds of things. And what we need from you desperately are, I guess, in short, 3 things. We need money. So maybe you heard me from the balcony yell about how well I did in the local elections on Friday. I'm really proud of that, thank you. And we want to do the same thing next year, except actually win. I think we can do that, but we need money to do it. My election campaign that ended just a couple days ago cost us about £800. That doesn't sound like a lot of money. It's not a huge amount of money, but it is a lot of money when you don't have it, which we don't, because we don't have a lot of donors and unions and things behind us. So there's about 400 people in here tonight. If everyone were to give us £2, we would have my next year's election campaign in the bag, and it would save us having to waste all the time we would normally spend fundraising. So on our Twitter page, which is @WEP Basingstoke, I'm going to post the bank details. And if anyone wants to wang £2 in the pot, that would be amazing. We need volunteers. We need people who are willing to just come out for a couple of hours and deliver leaflets. It's not... it's not an undoable thing. We're a really friendly, lovely bunch, and we'll show you how to work the letterboxes and everything. So, and people that were, feeling like they want to do something and they want to have conversations, and maybe you're brave enough to come and learn how to canvass. I didn't know how to canvass until a couple of years ago when Lou from Reading, who's in here tonight, took me out and showed me how, and then I've been doing it. And those conversations on the door are what made the difference and got me more votes than some established parties that have been around for decades. It's really important, and anyone that wants to learn to do it, we'll show you how. If you can't do either of those things, attention online. You know how it works. @WEP Reading and @WEP Basingstoke on Twitter, Facebook, the usual places. I don't know how to work TikTok yet, but I'm going to figure it out. If only because my eldest is getting a phone this year, finally, and IGADS, frankly. That's about it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so very much, Stacey. Come join us on the sofa. Also, don't forget to give money to Bloody Good Period. And also, what's the name of the baby bank? It's called the Baby Bank Reading? It's just called the Baby Bank, but it is in Reading. Maidenhead, Windsor. So if you could keep those in mind when you're donating. Also, I think there's more like 1,000 people here tonight, so if they all gave you £2, you'd get £2,000. So please do, because I think some Tory donors give it even more. That's just my guess. That's just my feeling.
More than £800?
Yeah, I did question time with Robert Jenrick, and when I went up to look at it, he was the Minister for Housing at that time, and when I went to look up his Wikipedia page, it was just a litany of scandals where he had been helping Tory donors out with all sorts of backhanders, and you can build a high-rise in the middle of this primary school. And so, we don't, we're not going to break that corruption unless we start doing things a different way. So thank you so much for standing. You can say one last thing.
You've spoken about girls in sport. So I just wanted to pick that very, very quickly, that I'm a board member on an organisation called C Sporty B Sporty, which is dedicated to closing the gender equality gap in sport. They do wonderful, wonderful things, headed up by a couple of former Olympians, who you will have seen winning medals and all that stuff, and have great resources for schools. So for you and anyone else who's interested in that stuff, please look for C Sporty B Sporty.
Yeah. Backstage, everyone's going to swap numbers, everyone's going to help everyone out. Have you enjoyed the show tonight? Your final act is going to have you dancing in the aisles, should you choose to, and be able to put your hands together and make incredible woohooing noises for the incredible Grace Petrie!
Hasn't it been a time, eh? Are you guys okay? Well, I thought it was time for a sing-along. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think that's very enthusiastic, is it? I said I think it's time for a sing-along. What do you think, Reading? Amazing. Well, listen. I come to these gigs and, I've got the easy job. I just come on. This is feeding back a little bit. I don't know if you're aware of that, Johnny. I come to these gigs and I've got the easy bit. I just come on and I do my silly little songs, and then I stand in the wings and I listen to these incredible stories by people who are fucking changing the world and doing absolutely incredible work. And
stop it, Grace.
Well,
I'm just a comedian. Come on.
They're lying on the sofa. They're rolling around. They're doing incredible work. And I thought it would be nice to sing one out together today. I'm sure I don't have to kind of labour the point about what a fucking difficult week it's been to be a woman. Obviously, there's a lot of fucking scary stuff happening with Roe v. Wade and stuff, and And then it really does. I do think genuinely, Deborah. I think you've built an incredible thing with the Guilty Feminist, and it keeps fucking fueling my tank, and it keeps me going. And if anybody feels the same way, I think give a massive round of applause to the Guilty Feminist.
I feel very lucky of the incredible talent we have who will come with us wherever we go. We had an embarrassment of riches for guests. There were more people in the audience I would have loved to have got out tonight. It's an incredible resource. So thank you so much. And thank you, can I just say, especially how brave these people are. Just to, I'll come out and talk. Yeah, it's amazing. And it's always a joy to have Grace Petrie because she will make the audience leave feeling they've had a better time than they have.
That's a heck of a fucking... I'll try and live up to that. Well, I wrote this song. I was asked to write this song many, many years ago now. I was asked to write an anti-fascist song commemorating the 75th anniversary of the Spanish Civil War, and this is what I came up with. But for my friends and the folks that come to my gigs, it sort of became like an all-purpose song about what we're trying to do, right? And I think at its heart, what we're trying to do, all of us, in our various ways, with our various different kinds of work, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a better world for our children than the world we inherited. And as long as we're trying to do that, I genuinely, as dark as things seem to be oftentimes, I genuinely think we're going to be okay. So I'd love it if you would sing this chorus with me. It's very easy. I'm just going to ask you to sing 2 words, and the words are save tomorrow, and it's going to be 3 times in the chorus. I'm going to ask you to go like this. Stand up today, and then you go, save tomorrow. Are you with me, Reading? Yeah. Very serious. Yes. Yes. We know our lines. Let's have another go. Stand up today that we might save tomorrow. And it's 3 of those in the chorus, and what I want you to do is just sing them loudly enough to fell the patriarchy itself. Is that okay? Oh, I should say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say. This is an incredibly gauche time to say this after all of the really nice, incredibly important political speeches, but I've got a gig in Oxford on the 16th of May. And it's selling fucking dog shit, so if any of you want to make the trip, I'd really appreciate it. Oh!
I don't think you should say it's selling dog shit. Say, and there's hardly any tickets left. Get them now.
I'm not going to lie to these folks.
Exactly. You don't know how to do...
Sorry,
Yeah, there's hardly any left. Buy them now.
We're down to our last fucking 180 out of 200, yeah. Yeah, you better get on that, guys.
It's a great night out. If you go and see Grace Petrie, you're going to feel better about yourself. She's selling out all over the country. If Reading is not selling, I think that's on Reading, not on Grace.
The gig's in Oxford, so it's not really on Reading.
No. Oh, I'm so sorry, Reading. It's not on you.
Oxford have some questions to answer as well, I think.
It's still on Reading.
Of course, listen, I regret going down this road.
Oh, my God.
Let's sing the song, guys.
Reading,
are you with me?
Reading, get Oxford out of the ditch.
You're not my brother, nor my countryman, not my sister or my friend, but you're my comrade, be so till the last. They shall not pass, they shall not pass. Now blood is running through the streets of Spain, and London grips in fear. Oh, smell of gunfire, sound of breaking glass. You shall not pass, you shall not pass. And why fight the good fight, fight the good fight? Why not let them burn? I dread the day when the suffering of my fellow is none of my concern. Here we go, so stand up today that we might save tomorrow. Oh, I know there's a way that we might save tomorrow. Yes, it's late in the day, but we might save tomorrow if we try. I will not turn against my brother for his creed or for his colour, nor the one he takes his lover or his class. You that beckon me that way, you shall not pass. And you speak of ideology, you speak of people like they're pawns, whose motives lie neath frosted glass. You shall not pass, you shall not pass. In the name now of humanity, not left nor right, not black nor white, tear that fascist flag now from its mast. It shall not pass, it shall not pass. And Why fight the good fight, fight the good fights? Why not let them burn? I dread the day when the suffering of my fellow is none of my concern. So stand up today that we might save tomorrow. I know there's a way that we might save tomorrow. Yes, it's late in the day, but we might save tomorrow if we try. I will not turn against my brother for his creed or for his colour, nor the one he takes his lover or his class. You that beckon me that way you shall not pass. Stand up and speak, it's not a call to arms. Get on your feet, it's not a call to arms. Get on the streets, it's not a call to arms. It's a call to helping hand. Last chance running, here we go, loud as you can. Stand up today that we might save tomorrow. I know there's a way that we might save tomorrow. Yes, it's late in the day, but we might save tomorrow, you and I. We shall not turn against each other for our creed or for our colour, nor the ones we choose our lovers or our class. And those that beckon us, that way they shall not pass. Thank you so much for singing along.
You have been listening to The Guilty Feminist with me, Deborah Francis-White, of stand-up comedy from Felicity Ward and Suzy Ruffle, and music from Grace Petrie. The Guilty Feminist theme tune was composed by Mark Hodge and produced by Nick Sheldon. The recording engineer was Chris Sharp. The producer for The Spontaneity Shop was Tom Zielinski. Thanks to Rachel Craftman, Gina DCO, Stuart Arnold, and everyone at the Reading Hexagon, as well as all of you for listening. For more information about this and other episodes, visit guiltyfeminist.com.
Stuart, do I need to get off? He said, yes, please. I need to... They send the patriarchy with me, just to make sure. No, Stuart's lovely. Stuart's our tour manager.
The Guilty Feminist is provided exclusively from Acast. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.